Alright, I think we're recording. What's happening, gamer? I usually don't give such a personal VOD, but here we are. I don't mind. I'm fucking bored, so let's do it, dude. Give me just a second to check something. Okay. Bring up, got my pen open. Let's check this shit out. I see you on Rhine.
I'm 2SR from
Audio was loud earlier. I already turned it down. A lot better now that I can see what's going on with the resolution.
Why am I the only one in a skirmish?
Oh, okay. I was wondering why you're on Rhine. Here we go.
Why are you high? Why are you cheddar?
I come from Cal.
So, high diamond, low master game here. Nice.
So milk is cheddar.
Yes.
Ah, understandable. Okay. My view has been wrong all my life. Cream cheese is
Normally I would turn off all the scenes and shit
Unfortunately.
so that you could see more of the video, but I'm too lazy to do that right now, so we're just gonna go with my normal stream shit.
Cream cheese is,
Hope you don't mind too much. What a crosshair, dude.
yeah, of course. I hadn't realized.
Okay.
You must be a man of intelligence.
definitely.
Alright.
Big brain.
Perhaps you are a gamer?
Go ahead and skip forward. This is a really short game, it looks like. Oh shit. Here we go. Couple seconds late, that's okay.
Can't see what's going on. Why are my frames at like...
Bastion.
Not even my frames, it's jittery. So jittery, what the hell?
Just wanna watch for a second here, just see what you do.
I got swapped.
Did he accidentally almost? Oh no. Ah, nice on.
So, bunch of problems to start out with. We're gonna ignore the fact that you're starting out late. That's not a huge deal.
Can't see what's going on.
However, I do see a couple of issues starting off the bat. Let me. Where was the point where you press tab so I can see the comp?
Why are my
We'll just talk about the comp first.
Of course. That's scan.
If I can find the comp,
Cheddar.
see what you guys end up running. Looks like just dive. I thought I saw Genji.
I come from Cal. That's what I do.
So... Ah, understandable. Has been wrong.
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't really count. It's
Press tab.
scan.
No. Yeah. Cream cheese is something else.
So Genji, Winston Diva,
Yeah.
Lucio Zen. So full dive.
Be a man of intelligence.
That'd be Pog.
Definitely.
Alright.
Big brain.
Perhaps you are a gamer?
Exactly.
Ah, okay. Of course you have this great wealth of information. What's going on? Why are my brain...
Damn, I wanted to. I was hoping you'd press tab somewhere here so I could see the comp more. But okay, so one thing I'll say right off the bat, nice. I like the full dive. I like it here particularly because of what teams typically run, which is the bunker comp. First point, Paris sucks to play. That being said, one thing that I personally like to run and like to see a lot on 2 CP maps in particular is a Sombra. Sombra is really damn good here, especially on Paris. I like it on Paris because one thing I like to do is I like to just go invis and run right through here and go straight to the back. Put down my translocator somewhere safe. Maybe hack the Mega if I'm in the mood. And then I could just basically pressure their backline for free while my team's pushing in, figuring out a way to get in, you know, ideally trying not to take too much poke, trying to build my EMP as fast as possible. I like that approach on Paris in particular, just because at least the EMP guarantees you one fight. As long as you manage to farm it in time. So at least there's that. Tracer's going to be a little bit more difficult because they're going to see you coming. I don't like that you revealed yourself here right at the beginning. I don't like that. One of the most important things about this game is intel. And giving away free intel is something you should just rather you didn't do. Any information that they have is an advantage that they have. You know what they run, but they don't really have a choice. They have to hold this point. They have to hold this high ground. So they're going to be revealed. There's not much you can do about that. But you, on the other hand, you don't have to tell them you're Tracer until you plan to kill them, you know? Like, they don't know until, what, 10 seconds in. So you could actually be through this choke before they even know that you exist. But that's not a big deal either. The bigger problem I have is that typically meta right now is a Hanzo, which you can see right here. Hanzo has to throw one sonic arrow at this hallway door thing, anywhere like right here, anywhere here. He throws a sonic arrow in this general vicinity, right? And he knows that you're here. He can see you walking up the stairs. He could see your team walking around this corner. So if he had done that, he would know that you're about to poke out here. And he could already start pre-firing this corner as you're walking around. It's great to know what the enemy team are running, but I wouldn't take this route. I wouldn't even really poke myself out to see what they're running until you're already ready to go in. Because at this point, you didn't need to reveal yourself here. You could have maybe just come through this way and just snuck around the side, just sneak in that way with your blinks, or sneak in that way with your blinks. Just coming here, like, this is useless to you as Tracer. It doesn't matter what they're running. You're not going to kill anybody from this range, from this high ground. I think you know that, but like, there's no reason for you to reveal yourself here. They could kill you right now if they were paying attention. But yeah.
Bastion.
And then you end up coming over here anyways, so you just essentially just waste a couple of blinks in order to poke the top, you know? Like, if you really wanted to, if you wanted intel as much as it looks like you want by, you know, coming through that high ground, go Sombra. And just, you know, you can walk up here and viz and see everybody, right? But, you're in. Do a little poke on the Baptiste. A little poke on the back. The problem is you've already got 2 down. So really, you're not going to accomplish anything at this point. I would probably just farm a little ult charge and then go hide somewhere. Maybe go for a maybe go hide in the back somewhere. Just stay away from the action because they're going to kill you. Like, there's, like, even if you get this Hanzo pick, you're probably not going to cap the point because of it. You've got better spawn, but there's no reason for you to die here. And I mean, Hanzo, fucking log-size arrows, he's going to headshot you eventually. We better just not give him the opportunity, you know what I mean?
Someone play ball.
Yeah.
Ah, here we go. Better look at the comp. So you're running Baptiste, Zen. That's shit. That's shit because this is Paris. This is Paris, a 2 CP, and you have one little tiny choke that you need to get through in order to get to the point, in order to get to the enemy team. So basically what you got is 2 mobile characters, 2 mobile characters, 2 immobile characters. It's terrible. At least run 1 Lucio. Whether it's the Baptiste that changes, or if it's the Zen that changes. But you guys should have a Lucio. Or, you know, a Mercy. A Mercy and a Lucio. Or, I don't know, an Ana and a Lucio. Or, it doesn't even matter. Baptiste and Lucio. Like, having 2 very slow characters with you know, for very mobile characters doesn't really help you get through a choke. It just means that at least two of you have a high chance of dying. Why? Because you got to go through this choke, and they get to shoot you for free from behind a shield for the entire duration that you're walking through that choke. So this sucks. Like they got the shield, they got the hog, Ana can sleep. These two just fucking shoot you. Like they're gonna know you're coming because they have the Sonic. So like these two are just gonna have a hard time getting through the choke. Period. Diva might be able to DM for a little bit, but that only goes so far and only lasts so long. So I don't like I don't like that at all. This is actually like another reason why I recommend Sombras on 2CP maps, especially in this point. Because one of the more important things that you'll realize is that attention is a big resource that you can take from the enemy team. You could actually do this as Tracer. I like doing it as Sombra because at least then you can guarantee that you survive the fight long enough to get EMP. But basically what I like to do is go Sombra, get behind them, poke for ult charge, but basically just take away their attention from the choke so that my slow team running their bad picks is able to walk in. You know what I mean? Take away the enemy team's attention. Like you had the Hanzo looking at you for a bit, you had the Hog looking at you for a bit, Baptiste for a second there while you were shooting him. Having those three not looking at the choke gives your team a little bit more time to push in. Problem is you were also late, so you ended up pushing in at the same time as your team, which just meant that you didn't take away their attention. So essentially what it was, this guy and this guy died straight off the bat, and then Diva lost her mech and then she died. So I don't blame that on you. I think they're running bad picks, and I think I do blame you for your death here, but
Actually, they don't have the Diva. We can just have a reason to. You want to do that?
I'll try and get some charge.
so again, you did the same thing. You came up here knowing that they have a Hanzo who could just, you know, put a Sonic here and know that you're here. So he could see you walking up the stairs, and then as you're walking up the stairs, all he has to do is just pre-fire in your direction and hope that one of those logs hit you in the head, you know what I mean? So I don't like that you keep coming up here to reveal yourself. And then doing it again. And then, like, so you see the Hanzo right there. Like, he's unaware because he's bad. But a top 500 Hanzo isn't going to make that mistake. They're going to shoot you. So be aware of that. Like, I say this a lot to a lot of players trying to rank up. Your goal should not be to play like this account currently Diamond. Your goal should not be to play like a Masters player if you want to get to Masters. Your goal should be to play like a GM player. Because think about it. In order to get out of Diamond, you need to carry like a Masters player. In order to get above Masters, you need to carry like a GM player. You need to carry every game in order to keep climbing. You can't make mistakes. The more mistakes you make, the more chances there are for the enemy team to shit on you. So you need to make as few mistakes as a GM player would make. And that's one of those mistakes. Waiting for our blinks. Okay, we're poking, You've almost got your pulse. You're down 2. And it's the same 2. Smile.
Big field.
Field 1, 2. Okay, 1,
Field's broke.
2, 3, 4. He only has fields for 20 seconds.
Back in the fight.
7. They don't have res.
I just want to point out, we just spent like, what, 10, 20 seconds doing nothing. Nothing. Just waiting for this mega. That's all we did.
There we go.
we also just did that, which is you just used all your blinks in order to look at a bastion. We didn't select a target to go in on. We didn't use our pulse. We just effectively used our recall and at least 2 of the blinks, or I think you used 3, but then you got one back right at the end.
That's actually
And then you got headshot. So, yeah, not a good start. Not a good start. We're gonna have to hammer out some of these mistakes here.
Of course, dude.
So let's talk about what you should have done instead.
I walk around.
Let's back it up to this fight with the Orisa, where you come around the corner.
Some charge.
There's this, which you shouldn't have done, but that's fine. Let's skip to the part where you're going in, right? So you're in. You used all your blinks to get in. Had you waited an extra second, you could have just used 2 blinks to get in. And then you'd have an extra blink right now. But you almost got another blink back, so it's fine. One thing you should really be aware of as a tracer is you should never use all of your blinks. You should always have 1 prepared. 1 or 2. Like, you should always be ready just in case you need to evade something. You know what I mean? Like, you should always have that 1 ready. You do have recall, so it's not that big of a deal right now, and you're sort of safe over here, and there's a mini right here. So it's not a huge deal, but now this Orisa comes over, right? And you hear her coming. Oh, shit. You hear her coming. So my first thought would be, I want to go get right up in her face and headshot the shit out of her. Maybe I can build my ult with those headshots. You see her? And then we sort of, like, where are you pointing? Watch your crosshair here. You just kind of like aim center mass and you go like this. You get a couple headshots, but only because she comes back up the stairs and gives them to you. You should be, at all times, looking for the head, aiming at the head. I mean, it seems like a Monka-esque forehead kind of like, duh. But one advantage of being Tracer is that you're really hard to hit when you're right up in someone's face. You're a skinny, tiny little hitbox. Go up to her face. Maybe even standing like slightly to the side so she has to, you know, rotate a little to look at you first, but shoot her in the head. Take your time, shoot her in the head. And then, rather than, like, I'm not sure why you turned around. I think you tried to blink, but then you ran into the wall or something. At this point, I would just blink forward or blink back, get out of there, you know, take a second. Not necessarily use my cooldown, but that's fine, you stay alive. But now, you've used your recall, you need to get the fuck out. Because now they know you're here. The Bastion came to help. The rest of the team is probably going to come to help in a second. You need to get the fuck out. You got 1 blink. Get out. Got the mini. You go back in, but you got 1 blink, and you can't really be aggressive because you still got another 6 seconds until your recall.
I'm gonna boot him down in 3.
And you're still kind of poking. Like, a good Hanzo would have turned around and just shot you. You'd be dead. If they were... If the enemy team were paying attention at all, they would just mow you down. Because they know that you only have 1 blink. They can count this. They can hear it.
2, 1.
Now, let's see how long we sit here doing nothing after you trip.
I'm gonna boot him down
1,
in 3.
2,
1.
3, 4, 5,
Break field, break field, break field.
6, 7, 8,
1,
9,
2,
10,
Broke.
11, 12, 13,
14.
14. So about like 14 seconds that we just sat there waiting for the mega, as opposed to just, you know, going over here to the mini or going over here to the mini. realize that the Mega right there is not the only health pack that you can go to, and you could have taken 5 seconds to go get the Mini on the left, and then the Mini on the right, rather than waiting here for 15 seconds. When the enemy team know that you've gone this direction, like it's kind of a... The enemy team are kind of like throwing right now by just letting you exist back here.
They don't have res.
And now your ball's here too. I don't think your team has any picks on the enemy team right now. I think it's just your Diva's dead. So your team has all the advantage in the world. There's no reason why they shouldn't turn around and kill you and ball. I'm not sure why they're not. Too afraid to leave the choke, I guess.
There we go.
That's huge.
And of course, dude.
Rip. Headshot.
I walk around the corner.
You, is that you saying I walked around the corner?
They have no mercy too.
I walk around the corner.
I want you to realize that you walked around the corner twice, used all your blinks, and recalled. So, knowing that you used all your blinks and recalled, why did you poke the corner again?
I've been shot in the head with a head.
I mean, that was the most easiest thing to predict in the world. You're out of all your resources, and you're in that room, and they know you're in that room because you recalled. So, all he has to do is turn around and shoot you. He doesn't even have to aim all that much. He just aims at the big fucking doorway. That's it.
Gotta go super aggressive. No passion.
So, instead, if you're gonna use all your resources like that, like, be aware of your resources. Be aware that these mean life or death. This is your survivability right here. These are your personal resources that you need to be aware of at all times. You need to have better cooldown management here. If you're going to be aggressive, you need to be prepared to use your resources to save your life. You went aggressive, didn't really do much with it, and then poked your head back out while your resources were down.
Go.
You should expect to die in those situations.
Just one more.
Immortality down.
Okay.
Gamer, you're not gaming with me yet. Haha, gamer. This time I got you. You got.
Survived that time, but I do want to point out that your entire team had pushed in, killed the enemy team except for the Hanzo, and so you basically had like all the help in the world. The Hanzo was pretty much screwed alone in a room with you, so you're lucky he didn't headshot you, to be honest, but I always find that funny.
I'm gonna wait for field zone.
Hanzo doesn't even have to aim, just send some logs at you, you know? He's just gonna send a fucking freight train in your direction. Okay.
They're all in mid, backside. I'm still on bunker.
Right here.
I missed that.
Missed the pulse. Feels bad. Suggestion for you when you're going for a pulse. The pulse, it's a projectile, right? But it's a very short range projectile. It's kind of like a punch. Think of how close you need to be in order to melee someone. Try to always be that close when you're throwing your bomb. Right here, let's see you throw the bomb.
Right here.
So, I was just going and practicing this in a practice range or a custom game or something. But go to a game. You don't even have to have the ult charge set up or anything. Just go into a game and practice dashing in on somebody and punching them. Just practice that. Go in, punch. Go in, punch. Go in, punch. In and out, punch over and over. I don't know. Go to custom game, turn up all the resources, and just practice that perfect blink distance for a punch. Do that. So that when you're going in for a pulse or something like that, you go in and you do a rotation. How do I... I don't know how to explain it, but you know that when you you rotate while you're punching somebody, you could essentially hit more than one person at a time, right? Because it's almost like a projectile itself. You punch and then you rotate, and it's just a box that hits everything that's in your immediate area. You can do this with pulse if you're close enough. If you're close enough, you can dash in, do your little rotation, like you do with the punch, and you'll be able to stick anybody that's like that close to you, close enough to punch. It will just automatically latch onto them because it's kind of has like a suck in effect, right? Try doing that.
I missed that. That was one more time.
You just kind of, like with this one, you just kind of chucked it and kind of aimed it, and that's fine. Hold on one sec. I got a bunch of pings. Hold up. Okay, sorry. DMs. Anyways. Also, another note. I see your ball. He goes in and he's giving your team some intel. He's letting them know what's going on. He's telling them where the enemy team's position. You know Hanzo's right here, right? And you can see the high ground over here. I don't see you making any comms giving your team that intel. Start doing that. Be like, Hanzo's left side, rest of them up on the high ground. It's super simple, but it lets your team know what to expect when they're coming in. Also, you're pushing in before your team are here. You got to remember that you're on Tracer and you're faster than everybody. Give it a second so that your team is pushing in with you. That way, while your entire team's pushing in, there's going to be less attention on you personally. That way, you could, instead of having, the entire team looking at you and the Hanzo looking at you right here, like it would be the entire team looking at your team and then just this Hanzo 1v1ing you. Just wait for your team.
Hanzo's right here.
I missed that.
You see, like, you nearly died just to the Bastion right there.
That was one more time.
It could have been just you taking a 1v1 with the Hanzo instead. But now you've got no resources, which is a shame. You went for a pulse, so it's fine. But now you need to, like, take a second and just wait for some of your resources to come back. Video's being dumb.
Hanzo's right here.
I missed that. That was one more time.
Okay, let me just refresh the page. Skip forward.
Mid, backside.
We'll watch it one more time.
Hanzo's right here.
I missed that. That was one more time. I have no recall.
You recognize that you have no recall.
Aha, you, I am dead.
Back in the corner, back in the corner.
The mic killed him. Oh, nice.
I mean, you saw that he saw you were coming. Also, 4 of your team are dead, or 3 of your team are dead. I think actually your diva might have been on the way back too, so potentially 4 of your people are dead. You can't win this fight anyways, so probably not even worth going in and dying.
Same.
That being said, you just kind of walk over to him and let him mow you down. I mean,
Back in the corner, back in the corner.
The mic killed him.
if you were gonna come in and poke for ult charge at least, go through the stairs on the right where they can't see you, or just dash behind them with one of your blinks. Then you can at least, I don't know, shoot him in the back where his head box would normally be because he's facing this way. Shoot him in that for a little bit for small charge and then get out. No need for you to die here.
Oh, nice aim.
R.I.P. Tracer. I saw that shit.
Nice aim. I mean, you're walking in a straight line, so
Oh, that was not nearly as nice as I thought it would be. I guess you just damaged it or something? I didn't notice.
They just switched to Zen.
I want to learn to play Tracer against everything. Because I want to learn to play Dive, which is supposed to counter Bunker, right?
I have a Zen now.
Supposed to counter bunker. Well, yes and no.
Yes.
The thing is, dive doesn't necessarily counter bunker. I would say that it is good against bunker, though. Let me kind of explain why. When bunker is set up, you've basically got an entire team sitting behind a shield, and the entire team, all 6 of them, are right here. Usually, this can be spread out. The smarter teams will spread out, but you'll have 6 people right here in one spot. You know exactly where they are. You know exactly where they're hiding. Your entire team is able to come in as 6 from all directions, right? Making it much harder for the enemy team to focus any one particular person because they're getting dove in from all sides. That's why dive is particularly good against bunker. There are different heroes that could help you even more. For example, a Sombra would be good. If you can, there's the option of breaking the shield, so you could go like a shield break comp or just run bunker yourself, but it's a little hard to do that when you're pushing into a point like this. So I do like dive here, especially with all the flank routes that are here. There's, you know, areas to come this way, there's the areas on the left, there's this middle bit, like there's a lot of different routes you can go. But another thing that is important in dive is teamwork. The whole point of dive is to dive in on one target together with, you know, multiple people on your team. If you have a Zen orbs them. If you have a Diva's matrixing in while also providing damage. Winston jumps in. He provides that the knockback damage plus his zappy zap gun, whatever the fuck. Genji dashes in. He's got his reflect and he's also providing damage. If you have an Ana throws a nade in. If you have a Lucio's just speeding around your Zen and providing extra damage. As a Tracer, you go in on a target and you get to just hit scan, and then you can get out because you have recall and you got all these resources. But all of you need to go in together, which you're not doing right now. In fact, one of the number one problems that you see with Diamond players trying to get to Masters, or Masters players trying to get to GM, one of the easiest ways to improve yourself as a player is to just simply look at somebody on your team and work with them. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Try to help them accomplish their goal. Try to have, like, okay, if your Winston or your Genji is diving in, right? Help them kill that target. Go in with them. If he dashes a Zen, go in and do follow-up damage. If a Winston jumps on somebody, go in and provide extra damage. Especially as a Tracer, like, that's what you're good at. That's the whole point of dive, is to go in with your teammates on a singular target. Select one target, all of you go in on that target. Like, that's what you do in dive. Once you get that target, right? You're now in a 6v5, and the odds have shifted very favorably towards your team. So, first takeaway from this game that I can tell so far is work more with your team.
I hate this Hanzo. I would have died there. That
You could have
almost
died
hit
there
me.
too.
Oh, my bad. I got hooked.
Get off my ass. Holy shit.
I don't know why you would expect him to do that. You're trying to take his point.
This Hanzo needs to get off my ass.
I do also want to point out that he probably wouldn't be so exclusively on your ass if your team was here with you, because then he'd have to worry about multiple people, not just you. right now you're in a 1v1 versus what could be a 6v1 because he's out of position. So wait for your team. And you got to pick. Had you instead waited and went in with your Genji, maybe you and your Genji could have killed that Hanzo that was out of position.
Everybody's asses, actually. Huh. Wonder.
Flash up, flash up. Careful, flash up.
I was wondering too. But that's okay because your team needs to regroup.
Know what to do. Oh, they're not Batiste. Then it's easy. Sneak, sneaky sneak.
You see what you're doing right now? You're going in 1v6. Your entire team is waiting and regrouping. You're about to go in 1v6, which means all 6 of them is able to look at you. If all 6 of them is able to look at you and able to put their attention on you personally, one of them's got to be able to hit you, right? And if more than one of them do it, then wow, you're kind of like this. This is what I would call feeding.
Yeah, Blade.
I'm gonna do this. Okay. Alright, yeah. If you're gonna go hard on Blade, I'll go hard. I'm coming around the back line.
The Zen is a little oblivious.
Count it down.
He finally notices you, though.
Oh, how
I don't think I'm at the
3,
black
2,
again.
1.
no.
If your tracking was better, you would have gotten him. But also, you've got this pulse. Why didn't you just walk up and pulse him and then recall?
Holy hell,
They
that was
use
a jump
everything
scare.
on me.
I wasn't sure which direction he was looking in. Holy hell, that was...
2, 1.
no.
Let's see. There's his head.
Count it down.
I mean, your choices now are to either get out because you're already discorded, or take the 1v1, which will soon not be a 1v1 because his team's going to turn around because they're right there. This is a questionable fight for you to take.
2, 1.
No. Holy hell,
And the nade comes in and keeps him alive.
that was a jump scare. I wasn't sure which direction he was looking in.
Oh, you're dead?
Yeah, the gardens.
That was a good shot. I wasn't sure if Stan was looking at me or not. I should probably set up behind him again.
We're close to Nano Blade. I'll take some damage for you.
Yeah, let Ollie heal me so I get the ult.
There's a Hanzo.
Alright, they might have
Got it. Hanzo down.
Good. That was better.
Go hard, go hard, go hard.
Play big.
But not once have I seen you turn around to see where your team
Can I
is.
live with it?
I cannot go through that. Holy shit.
I mean, your team is like, you see how far they are? They're just pushing in now. So, I want you to think about this for a second. How long does it take for Hanzo to come back from spawn? He's got what, like 5 seconds of respawn time, and then he gets to walk right back out because it's right there. Your team's all the way over here. Yes, you got that pulse on him, but tell me, what's the value in the pulse if he's about to walk back out any second now? Would it have been better to get it while your team were pushing in? Would it have been better to wait until your team is actually here to get a team wipe versus what you end up doing is, yeah, they're in a 6v5 now, but or you're in a 6v5. They have 5. Yeah, you got to pick, but he's going to get back before the fight's over. So you just ended up staggering him, sure, but like unless you get another pick right now, it's not really going to matter.
Oh no, just nano me. We gotta get in
They use
there.
anti as well?
Nano me.
Like your team's just now going in. Ball died, so not only that, but Ball's dead, so that's questionable. I'm not sure where he was. But regardless of that pick, Hanzo's about to walk back out of spawn. and your team's just now blading, so that pulse was wasted, just straight up wasted. Cool, you got to pick, but it's not gonna win you the team fight.
Healing, please.
Big nade,
Nice, nice,
Over here.
nice.
big blade.
Nice.
Scammers.
Help me Alfonso, help me Alfonso. Wait,
Right.
You just got carried by your Genji and your Ana.
dude,
Why
that
do
was
I
fast.
don't know. I hate that Hanzo.
Fast.
How do I avoid being killed like that constantly?
Don't expose yourself to him constantly. That's how.
That's. I want to know.
1 minute.
I'm gonna play Hog on
This is
defense.
winnable, right? Yeah. We have to stall them for 7 minutes.
Triple tank, I can play Sombra, I suppose.
I wanna play like bottom.
Just need like a
right.
shit ton of
See what you
spam
play
damage,
here.
It's fine. So like Junkrat McCree or whatever. Hanzo.
Maybe Bastion, Basharina.
I don't want to have
We
to
get a
deal with that
Mercy
Hanzo
for
again.
res.
Kree makes sense here if you end up playing on the high ground with the.
Have you guys
Orisa.
checked in his hand? From a
Skip forward.
Yeah, man, let's still. They just need extra sharp check.
We're gonna hold quick, right?
Oh, that's why the, like it looks like metal because it's
yeah.
been polished to the point
Pulled pork it is.
where it's sharp. Literally.
Please.
Okay. You're playing McCree. You're a very slow hero. Why are you over here? What do you plan to do here? Maybe if a tracer blinks in here, sure, you might be able to just flash whoever decides to come in, but your Hog's doing the same thing. What's your plan over here? You just gonna come play by the mini? Is that your plan? Why not go play by the shield, where you've got sight lines on them coming in, so you can see where they're coming from? Why not? Why not play here? I do like that you're. I like that you're playing a different sightline from the Bastion. Problem is, you don't really have a different sightline from the Bastion because they're all going to come from here. They're all like, this is their choke. Like, unless they run a Farah and she's coming up over there, like, this is their only way in. So, you being over here, sure, it gives you a sightline on this, but you're not going to contribute to any fight until the enemy team push in. So,
Okay.
you're just kind of vulnerable over here.
You have a ball? You have a ball? I'm gonna use my hook on that.
And then you come back over here anyways.
Ball's coming up. Oh, ball's coming behind. Yeah.
No, he's not. Get over here, ball. Ball.
So now you're chasing one of the most mobile heroes in the game as one of the most immobile heroes in the game.
I'm gonna follow you to the end of the area. Oh, he's.
Don't do this. Don't do this. He's faster than you. You can't kill him in one shot. You can't even kill him if you right-click him, flash him, and then right-click him again after a roll. Like, that won't fully kill him. You still have to put a couple extra shots in. So this is putting your team in a 5v5 while you're doing a 1v1, but not really, because neither of you are winning this duel because he's just running away. He'll be back in a second full health. So you're just contributing nothing right now and putting your team in a 5v5 unnecessarily, which is kind of a shame because you've got one of the best stuns in the game. So if they were to dive on your Bastion right now, you'd be the best candidate for preventing that. So what are we doing over here?
He's actually in our spawn. I mean, I don't mind chasing him actually.
Which would you rather fight? A 6v5 or a 5v5? Probably the 6v5, right? So go back to your team. Not only that, but you don't know what else they're running. Example here, the Sombra. She's probably going to kill you now unless you get 2 headshots on her.
Oh shit.
And she's got help, so now it's a 2v1.
Oh shit, I'm being contested.
So now it's even worse because it's they've got 2 in your back line. Your team seems to pick off a few, but it doesn't really matter
Okay, I'm down.
because your spawn's a million miles away and theirs isn't.
They're
So
behind us, by the way. Kill the Lucio first, and then make sure. Yeah, Arisa, I'm gonna have to ask you to spy check. Moira as well. Moira, please spy check.
Chris, stay by me.
they should push in right now. Hopefully they respond in time. They should push in right now, and they would have an easy time going 6v4 because 2 of you are dead.
She's right there. She's one. She's behind you, Map.
Nice. Good ball. Huge, huge, huge.
Your team's popping off though, so nice.
Do 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 do. That seemed off B, but when actually the Bastion, was that actually off B? I don't think it was.
Yeah, it's not really
Get on, get on.
Huge.
Don't get EMP.
Massive ults, guys.
The only way they win this is Nano Blade, so just play for that.
EMP now.
EMP Nano Blade, yeah.
EMP Nano Blade, yeah. So,
I want to stay here for Nano Blade.
Nothing to say about that fight. It was just a nice cleanup. Lol.
Just try to stay behind corner.
Nice little cleanup.
Easy.
I check.
You're very far away from your team, knowing that they have a Sombra.
Actually,
A smart Sombra would just pick you off. Like, a smart Sombra would outplay the fact that she can do a lot of damage from range, and you can't flash her if she's far enough away. A good Sombra would just mow you down right now, probably from somewhere over here on the point.
avoid getting slapped at all costs, right? So we'll stand up here.
I got slapped.
Ball's coming up for a boot. Watch
Ball
out.
still behind. Hog,
Man
I'll leave
tied,
that to
they
you.
don't have nade.
So you know the ball's in. There's the Sombra.
Honest one.
Honest one, honest one.
Oh, that's nice. They use it on Diva.
Can't really say anything about aim.
Didn't quite waste it.
What? I can't one-shot it. Okay.
Goodbye.
And then you
As a McCree, honestly, that's the best use of your ult you could hope for.
play still. I'm actually going to spot.
Alright, they have EMP Blade.
The only problem I have right now is that you're just standing so far from your team. Honestly, the enemy team's throwing right now. They could go in with Sombra, Ball, and Genji on you personally, right past your team right now and just take you out. But it doesn't look like they're working together at all.
Alright, what I would want to do is I want to keep Roadhog away from the rest.
So this is why I don't like doing VODs for winning games, because the enemy team is just basically throwing. Like you should have been dead like 9 out of 9 times here, but
The team and so is Batiste.
Somewhere behind you guys. It gets better. I hear him. They're coming behind.
I like the spy checking.
Ball half, ball half.
All down. Huge. They're wasting ults. They're really staggering. This is not a Master's game. Is it?
Oh, you are 23 health.
Oh, thank you so much for that healing. I would have just died there.
Watch out, balls coming.
See, I don't really have much to say about this. This is all just standard cleanup.
Good job, guys.
You guys are going to end up winning this just because the enemy team aren't working together at all.
Yeah. Alright, that
They
does
also use
GG then.
blood.
They.
Maybe
Oh, I don't
Ball.
need coffee.
Maybe,
I don't need coffee.
maybe B. Maybe B.
Now, if you were going to stand over here, Like if this was your plan, is to sit way over here, pick off the people as they're pushing in, like have your Bastion watch the choke, and then you watch this sight line. If you're gonna do that, why not play Widow? Why not play Ashe? Something with a little bit more range. Kree's great. He's great, but by himself, he's super susceptible to dying. He's not mobile. He's got a flash, but like they don't necessarily like. It's so easy to bait out a Kree's flash or just to play out of his range. A good tracer could just shoot you from the bottom down here. A good Sombra would do the same, or just hack you, or just ignore you entirely and just shoot you from this angle, or shoot your team from this angle over here. Like, if you're gonna do this, why not just play Widow and deal more damage, right?
Do they have bomb? I think they might.
And then you'd also have your hook, which would give you a way to evade a dive should they come on you. But they're not even doing that. You see how this tracer is... I just want to say you're both bots. There was multiple times there where you could have flashed her and multiple ways for her to bait out your flash, but you both failed. She ended up getting you in the end. But you're both bad. That's what I want to say. Like, look at this. She recalls. All she has is dashes now, and she's used 2 of them already. You gotta keep track of that. So she has 1 dash. There she is. You can flash her from this range. Flash her. Instead, you roll all the way over here, flash the ground. She's not a Genji. She can't reflect it, so... Like, even this would have been better. It's just to flash her from here instead. Like...
I'm down. I got Matt. Murdered. Oh.
But that does tie in with what I was saying earlier, is that a good player can just bait out your flash and mow you down. Because you're super... vulnerable by yourself on McCree. McCree just kind of sucks in 1v1s. He might be able to bait out a lesser tracer with the flash, but a good tracer isn't gonna fall for that. She knows. She knows that you can't chase her. So all she's worried about is you headshotting her. So
Can you get out? Nice. Alright, let's do this. EMP.
it's a lot better for you to just stand closer. Just in arm's length of your team if you're going to play Kree, at least. That, or just behind the shield. At least then Hog could have helped you out. Ana could have helped you out. You know, anybody on your team could have helped you out just a little. Or you could just flash the people diving in on Bastion. Like, you would have been a lot better off. But if you're not going to do that, then just play Widow. Because then you could just hook over here if you're in danger, right? Like...
EMP activated. Easy.
GG's, boys.
Alright. Looks like that's it. I don't think this is a very good VOD to review on. I don't see enough mistakes because the enemy team are just bad. They didn't work together at all. You should have been dead every single fight, but you weren't because they're bad. This isn't a very good VOD, so I feel bad about this one. Send me a loss. Send me a good VOD where you tried your best, but you still lost the game. Like, that's a good VOD. This one, your team was bad, and so was the enemy team. But you guys ended up working together a little bit more. Had a better bunker comp. That's all it comes down to. So this is a shame. But, okay, so what takeaways can we do from this video? Intel is important. Stop exposing yourself when you're, you know, about to go in. Like, multiple times you exposed yourself to Hanzo needlessly. You know where they are. You know that they're not. You know that they're standing up there on that high ground. There's no reason for you to keep pushing in and revealing yourself. You should have been dead in one of those situations. A better Hanzo would have picked you off. Would have sonic arrowed where you're coming from, and they would have seen you coming and just pre-fired the area where you're walking to. Wait for your team. When you're playing Tracer, work with your team. You're really somewhat easy to deal with alone, but you and 5 other people, not so much. Find one person on your team, whether it be the Genji, the Winston, the Diva, or even just someone in your backline. Just help them out. Like, find somebody and go in with them. Help them accomplish their goal. When your Genji goes and dives in on a Zen, he's going to do his dash combo shit. You go in and just clean up the kill. Easy claps. There's now it's a 6v5, right? Like, go help somebody out rather than trying to go in and frag. Resource management. Resource management was pretty poor here. If your recall's down, maybe don't be so aggressive. If you have your recall, you can be aggressive. You can go in and get that pick and then get the fuck out. Pulse bomb, that just comes down to practice. It's just a projectile. You gotta lob it. Get used to go into a practice range, go into, I don't know, games or something, and just practice pulsing things. Just practice that, finding that perfect tracer distance, and try practicing flicking like you're trying to punch people. Just go in and try to punch a bot or something. Go into a lobby somewhere, practice punching something. And then when you're comfortable that you're always hitting your punches, try lobbing a nade. And just replace your punch with the nade. You could even do a punch on top of the nade. I don't know. Cancel animations and shit. Like, just go in and then get close enough that you're going to hit them, and then just spin and lob. Right? Even if you miss, it's gonna attract. It's gonna still hit it. So go practice that. The only other thing I could say about this VOD is there was no ult tracking whatsoever. Start ult tracking. You didn't track your team's ults. You didn't track your enemy team's ults. I saw no evidence of that. Start doing it. Start doing it every game. Start working on those things. Yeah. All right, bud. If you have any questions, let me know. Send me a better VOD. You have a good night.